Electricity and Energy Minister Dr. Kgosientsho Ramokgopa is currently leading a delegation for the South Africa-China Investment Conference within the sector. This mission, we're told, is designed as a targeted investment mobilization intervention. The purpose is to present a curated investment-ready pipeline of energy and electricity infrastructure, and to explore opportunities to Chinese counterparts while securing structured engagement on financing, technology, partnerships and project development. Let's get the very latest on the story. Bring in SABC News reporter Katlego Legodi live to us from Beijing in China. And Katlego, we have quite the South African delegation there.
Most definitely. A very good morning to Ayanda, or should I say ni hao to you and the viewers there at home. We're coming to you live from Beijing this morning, marking day one of this investment conference. You are right. The minister leading a delegation that is really aligned to the plans that South Africa would have as per the Integrated Resource Plan 2025. Here, we are looking at ensuring that there's job creation at scale, but at the same time, they're looking at ensuring that there are opportunities, vast opportunities, where infrastructure development is concerned. And you know that the price of electricity is high as we speak right now. And this is something that the minister touched on, Minister Kgosientsho Ramokgopa, to say that there are plans underway to ensure that we bring down the price of electricity. At the same time, just looking at job creation, because there is a crisis in South Africa right now, but also strengthening and this bilateral relations between China and South Africa. They're long-standing, and you hear the minister saying we need to capitalize on that in terms of what the future holds. So this is an investment portfolio, Ayanda, that would see a 440 billion rand going into the issue of transmission, and he's talking about 2.2 trillion rand that will then move into generation where energy is concerned. And he's just talking also about some data centers that will need to be built by South Africa in ensuring that we're not left behind. But the minister just not alone, joined by the Minister of Trade, Industries and Competition, we also see various of some of those DFIs coming through as well, the Development Bank of Southern Africa. And most notable and interesting would be him just bring along the premiers of these provinces. And one of them would be the Premier of Limpopo, Dr. Ramathuba, who's just going to let us in on opportunities in the Limpopo province that these delegates here can capitalize on as we look at really revamping our energy infrastructure in South Africa. Dr. Ramathuba, thank you very much for joining us on the SABC. I know very well that there are special economic zones that the minister even touched on that would come through not only to really lift the economy of South Africa, but the economy of the Limpopo province and create jobs for Banaba Korai. Thank you very much for joining us here on the SABC. Premier, just let us in on the importance of being here, you being here, and how do we see this translating into just more or less moving the province of Limpopo forward?
I think it was very important and critical for us to be here. Morning to your viewers at home, because we're here to looking for investors especially on energy that is clean, as you have already indicated, energy that is sustainable. With the current inflation that is at 5%, we're looking for the cost of living that is very high, the energy that can be affordable. And most importantly, like we've already indicated, we're saying our Musina Makado special economic zone, together with Fitakomu Tubazi, which are already licensed, we are available, we are ready for all those investors to come here. I was saying even earlier on to my team that if you look at Limpopo, being one of those provinces that is rich in minerals. But when you look at our contribution towards the GDP, which is at 19.1%, mainly on minerals, but then you look at the manufacturing, it's at 3%. And that is where many jobs can be generated through manufacturing. So it tells you of the gaps between the raw materials and beneficiations and the processing, because if we were to focus on that, so industrialization gaps is what brought us here. And we're saying energy they invest in energy, not only are they going to be providing basic electricity to our people, but it acts as an enabler to make sure that even other sectors, whether it's these mineral beneficiations that I'm referring to, it becomes possible. You have heard the minister talking about smelters in some of our special economic zone. We're having to, at some stage, closing because of the challenges when it comes to electricity. But then we are saying if we are to go home with these investors that we are here to propose, we're here to market our province, to say, go with us. Not only will you be creating jobs, but also you will enable even agro-processing as one of the industrialization sector that we're not doing well. Whether it's a hospitality, Limpopo, you know, it's tourism, it's agriculture, and it's mining. That is the backbone of our economy. But the problem is we are not adding value in all these sectors that we are talking about. And more jobs can be created when you add value on your minerals. Not only must you extract them, process them, add value. Then the process of adding value, you are then at the same time creating more jobs, manufacturing on its own. We are saying they are experts in terms of industrialization, the skills that they do have. We want them to invite them. We always say, and when I came here, accepted the invitation, I said to myself, at the end of our term, in the next 3 years, I should look back to this conference and say together with the team, it's no longer about products are made in Limpopo, but products are made with Limpopo as part of it.
Yeah, Premier, just before we let you go, briefly, how do we ensure the sovereignty of some of these projects that will be coming into Limpopo through these corridors, but at the same time, rural development? Because if we are talking about Dubatse, you're talking about Makado, these are still rural areas. How do we ensure that these investments come through to lift up some of those communities that are watching us right now?
Development on its own, when you bring an industry, you automatically change the entire area. Musina Makado, for instance, as he said, it's still the bush, but currently we are busy with bulk infrastructure. And that process of bringing bulk infrastructure, that is a development. Because when you start with construction, you are dealing with a development. So when you see that, for instance, now, when we start to bring the green economy, when those investors start to come, and in Musina Makado and Fitahome, we are relying on solar, on energy. That is what we are capitalizing on it. So by bringing it, we are going to bring rural development. Because construction, what is development if it's not construction? If you start constructing, I'm sure here in Belgium, there is development because there's been construction. So construction on its own, it does, and that's when more jobs are also being created. So we feel that if we are to make sure that Musina Makado or Fitahome Mutubati SEZ becomes a reality, and like I've said to you, not only will be products be made in Limpopo, but made with Limpopo, then by just statement, I've just answered you to say there will be development, there will be jobs, and the economy will grow, and many more. When they know you've got reliable energy, many more industries will be built because captains of industry want reliable energy. When you've got reliable energy, water provision, because one of the areas which is making it difficult for us to provide with water provision is because we don't have reliable energy supply. If now, like we've adopted, being an 80% rural province, we've adopted a program to say we want one borehole per each particular area because we want to rely on underground water now that we don't have enough reliable sources. But for you to be able to pump that underground water, you need reliable energy. So I can tell you everything center around reliable energy. You will have development, you will have jobs. Rural areas will now become semi-urban. Therefore, you won't refer to Limpopo as an 80% rural province anymore.
Thank you very much for your time, Premier of Limpopo, Dr. Ramathuba coming through. But I know we pressed for time, but I'm going to bring into the conversation Winde, who's joining us from the Western Cape as the Premier there. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Just let us in on the opportunities, investment opportunities available in the Western Cape, especially as per this, what we're doing here, this mission in China.
So, I mean, of course, energy is also very important for us. We've got our own 5,700 megawatt provincial energy plan that delivers energy in each of our municipalities to be sustainable, have competition and long-term pricing that will give us much better pricing, as that competition kicks in. But we're also part of the Three Capes initiative, so that's the Eastern Cape, Western Cape and Northern Cape, also linked through to Namibia, and that's the green hydrogen corridor, which is also a critical component. And much of what we're going to be talking about here is the big investments that are going to feed into the green hydrogen opportunities. We're going to get an opportunity to visit one of the biggest green hydrogen production facilities in the world. The company that we're at now in these headquarters, I mean, they operate in 100 countries around the world. They do have offices in the Western Cape as well. This is energy, China's Energy International, and so they are key partners. But we've got to take it to the next level. We've got to bring further investment into our industrial zones, and so we're playing our role both locally and let's say the opportunity for the investors that are here, that are perhaps the smaller investors that look at the tenders that go out from each of the municipalities, but then also the much bigger investments into the role that we'll play in green hydrogen production for the international market.
Yeah, and just before we let you go, Premier, how do we see that coming through to bring down the high prices of electricity at home? Because that is a concern right now.
So obviously we've always said we can't be producing green hydrogen for the world and we've got load shedding. At least we don't have load shedding now, but it's got to affect our own pricing. So I think from a renewable investment from wind and solar, that's where the opportunities lie, because they'll obviously be developing green renewable energy to produce green hydrogen, but at the same time those big industrial developments of energy production across the country will then produce renewable power that can go through the grid system into local municipalities, and so citizens then have a choice of different power suppliers. Over time, we need to move towards trading online, so you would be able to decide next month which company you want to buy your power from and at what price it is. That's the journey that we've got to get ourselves to, and the competitive nature of the investment that comes into each municipality will give us that opportunity of sustained green energy at a great price, and that's critical for South Africa, and it's critical for the Western Cape and the role that we're playing. And then at the same time, that energy offers opportunities for export of ammonia or green hydrogen products. At the same time, perhaps green steel, which is one of the projects here in Saldanha Bay, get the steel plant going up again, but run it on green energy, green hydrogen, and you can sell green steel into the world. So these are the major opportunities.
Yeah, Winde, thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time. I don't know if we still have time, but I'm going to bring into the conversation with us Oscar Mabuyane, who's joining us as well from the Eastern Cape. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time. What opportunities are available in the Eastern Cape where energy infrastructure is concerned?
Well, so far Eastern Cape has proven to be potential hub of South Africa on energy. As you would understand that we've been focusing more on the auto sector for years and years, and we became an auto hub for the whole country. But even on energy, looking at us be able to have a natural endowments like wind and all that, we're doing very well. Hydrogen as well, and with our partnership with Western Cape as well as Northern Cape, we're doing relatively well, and we've already done some couple of projects jointly with Northern Cape where we are able to combine the wind farms with solar farms. So I think we're here for a good platform to get investors on our side, and we are open for investment in the Eastern Cape. We have got an unparalleled potential with 3 ports compared to none in terms of what that province can do. So we are able to focus on that, and I can assure you that we'll be able to turn the socio-economic outlook of our province. But with all what we're doing together with the ministers, we are slowly getting there, and I'm quite happy happy with the work that we're doing, particularly on the energy sector, turning around, as well as with the 500-kilometer transmission line that is going to be built. It is going to help the Eastern Cape. For you to industrialize, you need electricity, you need water. These are things that we must get ourselves around them and make sure that we are able to provide that, and that will create a fertile ground for us to get investors to come.
All right, thank you very much for giving us your time. The trio of the premiers coming through here, just giving us a sense of what's available or where they come from. But you hear all of them just talking about the importance of ensuring that we capitalize on these, relationships that we have with other countries. At the same time, work on the endowments that we have, huge resources, and just ensuring as well that as per the integrated resource plan, that plan moves from just being a plan to implementation.